Today, we're diving into Freshworks, a company that's making a massive bet on one simple idea. In a world full of complicated business software, simplicity is what really sells. Let's see if that bet is paying off.
And that really is the million-dollar question here, isn't it? Freshworks is banking on the idea that businesses are just fed up with clunky, confusing systems. We're going to break down whether that gamble is actually working.
Okay, so first things first. What does Freshworks actually do? To really get a handle on their business, you first have to understand the powerful engine that drives not just them, but a huge chunk of the modern tech world.
Freshworks operates on what's called the Software as a Service model, or SaaS for short. Honestly, the easiest way to think about it is like Netflix, but for businesses. Instead of buying a software CD in a box, companies just pay a subscription to use the tools online. This creates this beautiful, predictable stream of revenue, which, is exactly why investors love this model so much.
And this is where Freshworks tries to stand out from the crowd. You've got these giants, right, like Salesforce or Oracle, building these massive, incredibly complex systems. Freshworks is betting on the exact opposite. Their perfect customer is a company that just wants tools that work right out of the box. No army of consultants, no 6-month setup. They want to see the value, and they want to see it fast.
All right, a simple product is a great story, for sure. But do the numbers actually back it up? Let's get into the financials. It's time to pop the hood and see if this engine is running as smoothly as the design looks.
The very first thing that jumps out is the revenue growth. I mean, just look at that trend. It's a clear, steady climb with solid double-digit growth year after year. They're on track to pull in over $700 million in 2024. This isn't just a flash in the pan. It's a sign that there's real, consistent demand for what they're selling. But it's not just about the money coming in. Take a look at their balance sheet. Freshworks is sitting on roughly $1 billion in cash. Think about that. That is a massive war chest. It gives them a ton of flexibility to invest in new products, ride out a recession, or even scoop up a smaller competitor, all without going into debt.
Okay, this next part can be a little confusing, so let's break it down. On one hand, you have the official by-the-book accounting number, that's GAAP, which shows a loss. But on the other hand, you have the non-GAAP profit, which strips out certain expenses like stock compensation for employees. That number actually shows the core business is profitable. Investors look at both, the GAAP number for the official story and the non-GAAP number to see if the underlying business is making money. Now this is really interesting because it shows a critical change in their strategy. Freshworks got its start serving small businesses. But look at this. Today, over 60% of their recurring revenue comes from bigger companies. And that's a huge deal because bigger companies are stickier. They're less likely to cancel, they tend to spend more over time, and they give the business a much more stable foundation to grow from. So we've laid the groundwork. Now let's look at the optimistic side of things. What's the bull case? What are the big arguments for why Freshworks could really take off from here?
The whole bull case really boils down to 4 main things. First up is AI. They have to turn their Freddy AI platform into a serious moneymaker. Second, they need to keep landing those bigger, more valuable enterprise deals. Third is global expansion. They're already in over 170 countries, but there's still room to grow. And finally, it's about efficiency, making more profit as the company gets bigger.
This next metric is absolutely crucial to the bull case. It's called net dollar retention. Let me put it in plain English. A rate of 105% means that the same group of customers from last year are spending 5% more this year. It's a powerful built-in growth engine. It means even if they didn't sign a single new customer, revenue would still go up.
But hey, no investment is a sure thing. So to get the full picture, we have to flip the coin and look at the other side. What are the major risks and challenges that could hold Freshworks back?
So what are the worries? Well, first off, those official GAAP losses are still a real issue. Then there's the competition. It's absolutely fierce. They're battling giants like Salesforce on one end and quick, nimble startups on the other. There's also a big question mark around execution. Can they actually deliver on their big AI promises? And like any software company, if the economy slows down, IT budgets get cut. To top it all off, it's a growth stock, so its valuation can be pretty sensitive to market mood swings. Okay, so we've looked at the arguments for and the arguments against. Now, let's put it all together and see what the future might have in store for Freshworks. The analysis really lays out 3 potential paths forward. In the bear case, a bad economy hits and growth slows way down. The base case is basically more of the same, steady conditions, moderate growth. But then you have the bull case. This is the scenario where AI really takes off, they execute perfectly, and revenue growth accelerates, potentially taking the stock's value much, much higher.
So what's the bottom line from our source material? Well, the overall view is cautiously optimistic. The analysis sees Freshworks as a company with real long-term potential, especially for investors who have a few years to let the story play out and who can stomach a bit of that growth stock risk.
So, if you're going to follow Freshworks from here on out, these are the vital signs you need to watch. Keep a close eye on that net dollar retention rate, the growth in their larger customers, and their free cash flow. And maybe most importantly, watch for any progress toward real GAAP profitability and how many customers are actually using their new AI products.
And that brings us right back where we started. In a world that just keeps getting more complex, Freshworks is making a bold bet on the power of simplicity. Is that a vulnerable position in a super competitive market? Or is it a genius move that's exactly what the future of business needs? That's the billion-dollar question you've got to consider.